Everyone, today I'll be talking about my trig applications question, and which is on sound wave. Honestly, it could be really on anything, but in this case, I did sound waves. So, NASA picked up a sound wave from Mars that has a low frequency of 8 hertz and 20 hertz at high frequency. I'm sorry if some of the stuff doesn't make sense because I made this question up myself, so it probably might sound a bit awkward at some points. But anyways, from this sentence right here, we could see that the low frequency is 8 hertz and the high frequency is 20 hertz, which means that we can find the minimum and maximum value from that. So we know the minimum value is going to be 8 hertz, and our maximum value is going to be 20 hertz, right? Simple. And then now we know that one cycle of the sound wave is completed at approximately every 12 hours. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, that means the period is going to be 12 because the cycle of the sound wave is completed every 12 hours, right? A full cycle. Now, find an equation for the sound wave frequency in hertz as a function of time, t after high frequency, which occurs at 3 a.m. So right here, if I'm just going to clear this up a bit, it's basically asking you to create an equation for the sound wave frequency after the high frequency has occurred, which happens at 3 a.m. Right? So now let's begin. So we can easily find the AKC value if we're using a cos graph. And the reason we're using a cos graph is because it said that we're starting on the high frequency, which is the maximum point. And if you're starting on a maximum point, you want to use a cosine graph so you don't have to find out the d value. So let's do this. So how do we find the a value? Well, we know that a equals the maximum minus minimum over 2, right? So plug that in. The maximum is 20, minimum is 8. So 20 minus 8 over 2 equals 6, right? 20 minus 8, 12 divided by 2, 6. And then let's find the c value. The c value is maximum plus minimum over 2. So 20 plus 8 equals to 28. 28 over 2 is 14. Simple. And how do we find k value? Well, we know that the period equals to 2 pi over k, right? And if the period equals to 12, then we can set up an equation right here. So 12 equals to 2 pi over k. And using simple algebra, we can figure out that k equals to pi over 6. To do that, all you have to do is swap the 12 and k, simplify 2 pi over 12 to pi over 6. Simple. Now let's just plug that in. So let's plug that into our equation. So it's asking for h of t. So h of t equals to 6 as the a value. Pi over 6 is the k value. T obviously, and then plus 14 as the t value. So now let's move on to question B of this, part B of this question. So what's asking us to do is it's asking us to graph the function for 18 hours after the high frequency has occurred. Right? So how do we do that? Well, first we have to figure out what increment we have on our graph. So increment is 3 because period divided by 4 or period times 1 over 4 is the increment you should plant your graph by, or increments that each landmark checkpoint should be or mark should be. And so our period is 12. So 12 over 4, obviously 3. Now let's graph this. So I marked out the points 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Increasing by 3 each time. Actually, I really could have started with 3 here instead of 0 because really it's asking for what does it ask? Yeah, it asks for after the high frequency has occurred. So it means we're starting on the high frequency. So we really don't need 0 since it starts on 3 technically. And obviously it's not going to be negative, so we don't really need a negative side. And so for the y values, I decided to go with 2 because our c value is 14, our minimum is 8, and our maximum is 20, and all divisible by 2. So it makes it easier, and every point is going to be on like an actual line instead of in the middle, so it's hard to determine. Now, let's just start by plotting the points. So we know that it is going to start on the maximum value since it is a cosine graph. And then from the maximum value, it is going to go down to the c value, which is 14. And then from there, it's going to go down to the minimum value. And so remember to always draw these lines in a curved way, because if you draw them in a straight line, like I don't like it, it's dependent on your teacher, but if you draw them in a straight line, most likely you're gonna get marks taken off. So always remember to draw them in a curved line like this. And anyways, it looks much better than, let's say, like if you drew like this, like this just looks bad. Okay, nobody wants to see that. Like nobody wants to see a V. And yeah, you just keep on doing that until you reach 18. And bam, there you go. That took what, like 5 minutes? And like if you, I wrote all this down, so if you actually did it by hand, it probably only taken you like 10 minutes. Quick, simple, easy. All right, that's all. See ya.